Hey, welcome guys. So after we finish this two-dimensional classification, then we want to go to the three-dimensional. By the way, this is the course in the National Yangming Jiaotong University, the group theory course, the applied group theory course, and I just filmed using the YouTube. Okay. So now let's talk about the group action. Can we do some change color? Okay, and so group action is basically basic definition. Just write down definition. Is the color change? Okay, so we are asking about let's say S is a set, and we want to then we define an operation where G apply on set and goes to set. So basically, it's a G permuter set. Okay, so simply speaking, if you give me G and S, and I just define a G circle S, or a GS. Okay, and satisfy what? Satisfy when identity apply on S is a set S. So this is for every element in S. Then so identity should not change anything. And then when G apply on HS, then so H apply on S will permute to some other element of S. But when G apply on it, then it becomes GHS. So it's group compatible. So this is just a definition. These are called so when you have this kind of thing, so we say group acting group G X on S. This is called group action. Okay, so special case is, so there are very special case. For example, S is G itself. Then the famous one is that G apply on G map to G. If you give me X and Y, I map to X, Y, X inverse. This is called conjugation. Okay, so there are a lot of examples. So so this is one example. Another example is that the X and Y, I can just denote the X on Y by just the product in G. And maybe you can consider, for example, you can take all the linear transformation T from V to V, where the determinant of T is non-zero. And then you say G apply on V goes to V by very simple, just given any matrix T and the vector V, just map to TV. Okay, it's for your exercise to check this is indeed the group actions. Okay, so sometimes we call S is a G set. This is very like categorical language. Okay. Basically very categorical language. Okay. Now, so now we can define some other relation. So the first one is called stabilizer. This is very famous in quantum information. I mean, the name is very famous. So GS. So given let's say S in S. So we are asking about what's the group in G where stabilize S. So G apply on S will give me S. It's called stabilizer. So definitely is a subgroup of G. So check by yourself is subgroup. Okay, maybe I can check by for you. If I take G and H in GS, and I'm asking whether this belongs to GS. So let's do it. So I am asking GH inverse apply on S. And since H apply on S is S, so if I apply H inverse, I get S equals to H inverse S. Right, so this is S, and the G is also S. So this proof is a subgroup. Okay, and for example, if I use the conjugation, so let's say GX on G, now I pick S to be G, and using by conjugation, then this GS will just be what? Will be G belongs to G. Let me just use H here, such that G inverse equals to H. Okay, so this is what? This is just the elements commutes with H. Okay, so just take elements and you take the group which commute with H. And so recall that everything the thing commute with everything is called center. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's say we have one observation is that so this is a simple observation. It says that if let's say S prime and S are connected by some element Y. So this is Y S on S prime. Suppose you have such kind of thing, then my claim is that this GS prime will be just YGS Y inverse. So view as this is a subgroup. Okay, and okay, let's quickly prove this. So what's GS prime? GS prime is a guy which is a group element. GS prime equals S prime. But what? So it's GYS equals to YS. So which means that Y inverse GYS equals S. So this shows that Y inverse GY belongs to GS. So if I take any GS prime here, if I do Y inverse GS, Y inverse GS prime Y become GS. So this proves this condition. Okay, so it's an exercise for you. Okay, so this is the the group action. Okay, so now okay, so there are some other notation. For example, fixed point is a point which everything is fixed. So S is called a fixed point if GS is a G. So everything fixed. So for example, identity is a So S fixed. So S is fixed by all the group elements. Okay, this is called GS. Okay, now I can define a very important idea called orbit. So orbit of S is basically say S prime, where there exists G belongs to G such that GS equals S prime. So simply speaking, orbit is all the sets you start from. Orbit of S is all the elements of S such that if you start with small s, then you can arrive using G. So if you apply G become GS, you get G prime, you get G prime S. Maybe you keep going at G1, G2, you get G1, G2, G1, G2, G1, G2 S. Basically, if you can keep apply all the elements of G, then it may not contain all the elements of S, but it will give you some trajectory. This is called orbit. Okay, so orbit is subset of S. Okay. So what else I want to say? Okay. So yeah, so this is the orbit. Okay, so sometimes the people write GS. So this is bad. I think a very method. So I use OS. So OS is orbits of S. Okay, and there's a weird connection between there's a very weird connection between this this stabilizer and S. So this is the final theorem that I prove in this video. Basically, so okay, so I know that GS, right? This GS is for some S, right? It's a subset of G. right? So it's a subgroup, right? So I can consider the coset. So I can consider G quotient. It's not a subgroup. It's not a normal subgroup. Whatever, right? This is a coset. So I view it as a coset, and I can map into the orbit of S. And the map is very simple. So each coset here is GGS. I just map into G apply on S. Okay, so obviously this is well defined. Okay, probably not well defined, but let's prove it's well defined. So it's a map from a coset of GS and map to orbits. And I want to claim this F is a 1-to-1 and onto. So in particular case, if G, right, so this is what we are going to prove. And if this is true, then in particular case, if everything is finite, which show that the number of G quotient GS, which is G divided by GS, surely it's basically this OS. Okay, so orbits is the same as group elements divided by stabilizer. Okay, so to prove this, we are going to show this F is well defined and 1-1 onto. So let's prove it's well defined. So if G1 GS the same as G2 GS, meaning that G1 inverse G2 belongs to GS, then basically G1 G2 right here. So if G1 inverse G2 is applied on GS, it's the same as GS, meaning that G1 inverse G2 applied on S will be the same as S. So this shows that G2S is the same as G1S. So it's well defined. Now it's basically surjective, because by definition any OS can be any element in OS in the orbit of S can be achieved by some G here, and I just find a G and do it G times GS, right? So it's onto is trivial. This is by definition of OS of the orbit of S, because every orbit is basically come from some G apply on S, right? So we just do the pre-image. Now is you can ask is 1-1. I think 1-1 is also simple. So check. So 1-1 means that if the input are different, so let's say G1 GS is different from G2 GS, means that G1 G1 inverse is not in GS. Okay. Then basically it's finished. Because then output cannot be the same, right? Because if G1 inverse G2S is the same as S, then you get G1 inverse G2 belongs to GS. There's a contradiction here. Okay, so it definitely is 1-1 and onto. Okay, so let's finish the. Okay, so let's finish the proof. Okay, by the way, there's one example which also interesting is that you can take a subgroup of G called H. Okay, and now you can then you use G acting on G by conjugation. But actually now it's okay. But actually it's maybe I will do this. I take S to be all the subgroup of G. So I'm not consider a set. I'm not consider all the subgroup. So each element is a subgroup, and I apply and I say that G acting on S by conjugation. So if you take subgroup H in S, then I just use this subgroup map to another subgroup which is GH G inverse. Okay, and you can define a so-called normalizer of H. Okay, so normalizer of H is all the element in G normalize H. Really. So it's hopefully you guys should recall this definition. So if you see this is basically this normalizer is basically in these languages. In previous languages, it's a stabilizer. It's a stabilizer of similar to GS, but this is GH. Okay, so right, because you are asking what you are solving a solution like GH G inverse equals to H. Okay, so by these results, by the previous results, if one is interested in the number of subgroups conjugates to H, so meaning that you're asking what's the how many subgroup you can achieve, you can write using H to G inverse, then the answer is simple, just the number of G divided by the normalizer. Okay, because this is just the stabilizer. So basically, all of this video just want to say that orbits, the number of orbits in one orbit is the same as G divided by the stabilizer of any elements in that orbit. Okay, see you next video.